Let's try that again. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town Board regular meeting for Tuesday, April 9th, 2019. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Councilmember Shaw. Present. Councilmember Dettori.
Present.
Councilmember Wilcher.
Present.
Councilmember Feldman.
Present.
Supervisor Levenberg.
Here I am. Okay, so tonight we are opening two public hearings on 2019 cabaret licenses. The Briarcliff Manor is a renewal, and Club Fit is pursuing this license for the first time. Both of these applications have been vetted by our police and building departments, both of whom felt all was in order. But we are still looking for any public and board feedback on both of those at these public hearings. So with that, do I need a motion to open the public hearing?
I would do them one at a time.
Okay.
Briarcliff Manor is first on the agenda.
Okay. Need a motion though? Okay, so can I have a motion to open the public hearing for the 2019 cabaret license renewal for the Briarcliff Manor?
So moved.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Is there anybody here to address the board in the matter of the cabaret license for the Briarcliff Manor? Going once? Going twice? Any comments from the board? Anybody want to say anything? I mean, the only thing I would like to say is that the Briarcliff Manor has made enormous improvements to their property over the years in response to the neighbors' interests. And we're actually have been very pleased with their operation for the last few years. And we would, in the past, for that particular property, many people would come out for these public hearings. And as I see in the audience, there's pretty much nobody, unless, Mr. Rushing, did you want to address the board on this public hearing? Oh, okay. Okay. So just hearing nobody else here to address us on that matter, I would like to take a motion to close the public hearing in the matter of the 2019 cabaret license renewal for the Briarcliff Manor.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next up, we have the 2019 cabaret license for Club Fit Briarcliff, doing business as Briarcliff Operations LLC. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Is there any feedback or from the public, anybody here to address the board on the Club Fit cabaret license or Club Fit Briarcliff cabaret license? Seeing and hearing nobody? Yeah.
If I could just bring up one thing when I was reviewing the application,
Sure.
Because of the nature of this business, they do tend to open early. So they'd indicated on their application that the intended days and hours of cabaret operation were from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. In the code, it says that cabarets are not supposed to be open between 3 a.m. and 11:59 a.m. Unless their liquor license authorizes them to be. So that may be something that we just may want to confirm with them
Okay.
to determine what the board can actually authorize them to do.
Okay.
But I don't think that should hold up
So-
anything. I mean, you're not going to approve anything tonight. So
So does that mean that we should leave public hearing open then?
it might be better to leave the public hearing open, maybe request a copy of their liquor license. And then we can always close it at the next meeting and have a resolution on prepared in advance in anticipation of there being no further public comment and being
Okay.
able to close it then.
Sounds fair. Board, do you all like that? Case may have a motion to adjourn the public hearing until
April 23rd.
23rd.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. And as mentioned, both of these licenses will be, well, most likely one of those licenses will be on our agenda to be approved for Tuesday, April 23rd. Most likely both of them will be. Okay. Wonderful. And with that, I would now I need to ask for a motion to have a special presentation. I don't think we have a special presentation this evening. Which I need to find where my notes are on that because I don't see them immediately. Yes, I do. Okay. We have the retirement of Honorable Michael G. O'Connor, Superintendent of Highways. Michael has been with the town for many years, and so this is a bittersweet week for us in the town of Ossining as we prepare to say, see you soon, we know we're going to our town superintendent of highways, Michael G. O'Connor. Michael has a long history with town government and an even longer history of volunteer service for Ossining. After more than 13 years as our elected highway superintendent, Michael G. will be, sorry, I have a little, just, I know what your middle initial is because Gerald, Siri always reminds me, I like to tell the story that when I ask to call Michael on the phone, I say to Siri, call Michael O'Connor. And Siri says, do you mean Michael G. O'Connor? So she knows her business. He will be hanging up his neon jacket and wearing it for the last time this Thursday before turning over the reins to his deputy, Peter Connolly. Michael has worked hard for this break, but we also know just how much he loves his job and considers his crew and office staff to be a second family. So we are so grateful for all your many years of looking after the town in your with your many other hats that you wear, looking after the village, looking after your community, and it extends far beyond just what we do here in the town. But I know that the unincorporated residents are going to truly miss you and all that you have done for them. And we will also miss you in the central office. With that, I think we have a wonderful proclamation here for you that we'd like to give you, Michael. Maybe you can come up and accept it. And then we are going to take a short break, but I would like to read this proclamation because, well, let me read the proclamation. Oh, you got it. I'm joining you. Okay. Michael, come stand over here. Yeah. So we have a wonderful cake, and I don't know if you can zoom in. You might have to zoom in on the cake, Tom. Okay. We have a wonderful cake, which says Happy Retirement, Michael G. But it ain't just any cake. And thanks to the assessor's office, who has some good connections with Homestyle Bakery in Peekskill. They helped out a little bit with this cake, and they had the great idea. I had suggested that we put a truck on it, but it isn't just any truck. It's a town truck. In what color is that orange? Municipal orange. In the municipal orange of our town highway truck. So it's really pretty fantastic cake, I have to say. Okay, come on over, Michael. I want to read you this proclamation from the town. So, proclamation in honor of Michael G. O'Connor. Whereas Michael G. O'Connor has been an active member of the Ossining community for more than 30 years, serving as the elected town superintendent of highways since 2006, and before that as an elected member of the town board since 1990. District leader and former chair of the Ossining Town Democratic Committee, Ossining volunteer firefighter and member of Senate Hook and Ladder Company No. 1, chair of the Town of Ossining Central Committee of Organized War Veterans, lifelong Boy Scout, dedicated parishioner, and expert usher at St. Anne's Church, and in so many other official and unofficial roles. And whereas, before settling in Ossining with his wife Mary to raise their 3 daughters, Michael bravely served our country as a member of the United States Army from October 1963 through October 1966, including 1 year of service in Vietnam. And whereas Michael's service in the United States Army inspired his decades of volunteerism in many veterans organizations, including the Ossining Post 506 American Legion, of which he has been a member since 1987, and served as post vice commander, post commander, and other officer positions, as well as an active organizer, a very active organizer, and the active organizer of many annual events honoring veterans, including the Memorial Day Parade, Veterans Day, and Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day programs, to name just a few. And whereas Michael has been a pillar of the town of Ossining government for decades through his service on the town board, and most recently as superintendent of highways, working diligently to ensure that every street gets plowed, every stormwater drain cleaned, refuse and brush are picked up regularly, and our infrastructure remains strong. Michael G. has served this as his dream job, has described this as his dream job, and it shows. His dedication to the residents of Ossining will surely be missed as he retires to spend more time with his wife, daughters, and grandchildren, who, as we all know, are truly the light of his life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Dana A. Levenberg, supervisor of the town of Ossining, with the enthusiastic support of the Ossining Town Board, and I'm going to actually invite up a couple of our previous supervisors, Catherine Borgia and Richard Wishney. Can you come up and stand here with me too? Because you have also, Michael, you have also been impacted by this gentleman here before us, and I appreciate your standing up here. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, Dana Levenberg, supervisor of the town, with the enthusiastic support of the Ossining Town Board, thank Michael G. O'Connor for his decades of service to Ossining and wish him all the best in his well-deserved retirement. And be it further resolved that April 11th, 2019, be named Michael G. O'Connor Day in the town of Ossining in recognition of his service to the Ossining community and for all his efforts to make Ossining a safer, cleaner, friendlier place to live. Thank you very much.
I don't know how they got all that ink on this page. My God. Thank you all. It's been a labor of love. There are a lot of people that have, especially with the highway department, we're fortunate we have a great team, wonderful staff, not only with the highway department, but all the town employees that have had to pitch in at times when we had major storms, snowstorms in particular, the Parks Department, the Cemetery Department, and others that have also contributed. So it's wonderful working with these group of people, the men and women of the town, to get the job done. Even the backroom people, getting our bills paid and talking to vendors and seeing what can be done on various occasions. So all of these things contribute. And what I do in this community is try to help those when they say, look, I got a problem. Well, let's find out what the problem is. And I truly, do my best to try to help them. And not in every case is successful, but even for those that weren't, the public is always appreciative when they know that they have a community, as you know, cares, and they have a community that's looking to respond to them. And I was just part of that. I was proud to be part of that. And somehow in the future, I'd like to still be part of it in some way. But thank you for the entire administration, the town, and all the employees and the department heads are here. I see several department heads. I want to thank you for coming out. I'm thinking you came out for me, but I didn't read the whole program yet, so you could be here for that. But thank you all, and thanks you to the entire staff of the town. It has been a pleasure. I can't believe where 30 years went, but it did. And this gentleman behind me was with for a lot of those years. So Northern, and knowing Richard has been an advisor to me for 35 years or more. And I remember when Richard was town supervisor, and I didn't even know who he was, but I dragged him over to the fire truck. I said, got to show you this equipment here. And he's very patient with me, listening to me. And I find out he's a fireman in Briarcliff, And so he was being very kind to me as I was enthusiastically explaining the new equipment we had on the truck. Thank you, Richard. You've always been a friend. And Catherine is here to help along the way as we work together when you were supervisor. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. Did anybody else want to say, you want to have a couple of words? First, let me just see if my town board, did anybody want to say anything?
Thank you again for all your service, and thank you personally for me. When I first started, I met with you at the highway department, and you walked me through all the processes. You introduced me to the staff, and it was wonderful. You were just so kind and generous, so thank you for that.
And I just want to say, excuse me, it's hard to remember when I got started, but every time that was one of what is it, when you go to the dinners? On the, where we had to go to different cities. Yeah, the municipal official, Mike would have me meet him over in Elmsford, and we'd ride together. And I'd pray hard, but we got there and back. But I just have to tell you, Michael took me by the hand and showed me the way the whole time that he was there. And I thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Get another picture?
Yeah, we're still talking about you. Michael, I've known you as a member of the fire department forever. Always being there and being one of the guys that the firemen look up to. I've known you as when you were the chair of the Democratic Committee and down the street when you and Steve ran that whole thing together and went and got the signatures. I've known you as a town council. I've known you as highway superintendent, and you've given your all to this community in each and every position and post, even though you hold like 5 or 6 at a time. But you really make a huge difference in our community, and everybody knows you care about them and that you give your all, and it shows, and it's so appreciated, everything you've done for this community. And I know you're going to never just sit down and do nothing. So everything you're going to do also, this is just changing of the hat because, you've had so many roles, and I look forward to seeing, if Mary lets you out, what roles you serve next.
Michael, when they say Ossining is a volunteer-spirited town, you really embody that, probably more than anybody I know. And we know so many good volunteers, but you've set such a great example for all of us. And thank you so, so much. Okay, I have one more praying when Michael's driving story. So one of my favorite moments as town supervisor, when we were trying to fix a road that had been in Crotonville that had the railing had come down and in one of the big storms, and Michael said, "I'm going to drive you down this road." And he's like, we're fine. And I had my hand on the door thinking, if I'm going to have to roll out. But we were fine. And Michael also was very good about always taking me around during the snowstorms. He was an excellent leader of a crew that is just so devoted to the town of Ossining. And as been said here, known you in many different roles and know you're going to continue to really contribute to the community. But thank you so much for all the service that you've given to Ossining thus far.
I think when I think about Michael O'Connor, I think about a friend. I think about a public servant. I think about local, county, state government, the people of America. He has not stopped his entire life. Ossining has a special meaning to me. And I always say that next to the Hudson River, our most important natural resources are people. And Michael O'Connor, you exemplify the best of us. All of us wish you the very, very best. Clearly, we thank you for your service over all these decades, and we don't expect you to stop. Thank you, Michael.
And also, I'd just like to invite up, just for picture taking. So, and Daniel Cohn is here from Senator Carlucci's office. He's representing the senator here this evening. Senator wasn't able to make it. And Frank Fiala from the American Legion, you want to come on up? What happened to Pete Connolly? You want to come? You don't? Come on. We get our department heads. Dan Ciarcia, who's our engineer. Come on, everybody. Tom, you're gonna have to take the picture. Come on, you guys. Come, everybody can join in this picture, I think. We gotta hold up the cake, too. Yeah.
You get one more.
I would just
our meeting. Oh, right. Okay, here. Since we got the camera, is the camera still rolling?
I don't
Okay, the camera's still rolling.
Listen, Michael, I just want to say, I took over 10 years ago this year from the Legion. I don't know what I would have done without him. You got a little bit in here for me. Been hard running that job, you know, taking care of the old veterans. But when you need they asked me, what are you going to ask Mike to do? I said, he's going to be my liaison guy, because he's the only guy I know that can get out there and put things together, and we don't have to worry about it. So, Michael, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Please, and God bless you.
Anybody else want to say anything? There's an opportunity for a couple more words before we take this break. I do want to also just add that we are going to be losing a tremendous amount of institutional knowledge, because even when we're looking for resolutions or what happened when, Michael often remembers back from when he was on the board how things went down and how deals were made. And he was there for quite a few of the 16 years he was on the board, and so for quite a few of those deals he was a part of the deal making, and he remembers all of the players and how things happened, and we are really going to miss that a lot, and we're very appreciative for all that you have brought to your time here for all those different roles. Okay, so like I said, we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back, and hopefully you'll enjoy the music. Okay. To have a little celebratory cake in honor of Michael G. O'Connor, who is going to be retiring this Thursday. And now I'm going to go into announcements, and then we're going to change the order of the meeting just a little bit to have a special recognition of our audience recognition. So first, let's do our announcements. Were you able to make it down to Westchester Collaborative Theater this past weekend? Their new show, The Legend, debuted last week, and it was phenomenal, I can say, from firsthand experience. Head down to Water Street and check out what some have described as an urban fairy tale about a troubled young boxer and his ascent into the world of professional prize fighting. Tickets are only $25, and performances will continue for the next few weekends. Visit wctheater.org to pick a date for a night on the town. So Ossinings's making some big moves for the environment this spring. The Ossining Documentary and Discussion Series is hosting 2 events, both with a focus on the Hudson River. Do we have a little spell over there? Okay, they're okay. Excuse us for a second. All right, it's all good. This Thursday, April 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the Ossining Public Library's Boudars Theater, watch Source to Sea and learn more about the Ossining Beach Project you heard about a few weeks back from our OHS Environmental Club students, as well as some other ideas for Ossining's riverfront. And also, I believe our Councilwoman Jackie Shaw will be joining the Environmental Club students for a little bit of a talk back after the film. Then next Thursday, April 18th, the documentary and discussion series will take their show on the road. The screening of a trio of documentaries about the Hudson River will take place at Sing Sing Kill Brewery on Spring Street. This one starts at 7:30 p.m. Learn more about these events at OssiningDocumentaries.org. Green Ossining is also making moves. They are partnering with the Greenberg Nature Center to offer 50% off rain barrels and composters through April 24th. And yes, you heard it first here. I have purchased one of each. Once you've ordered, you can pick them up on Earth Day at the Ossining Waterfront, which I plan to do, and I hope to see you all at Earth Day, which brings me to my next point. Ossining's 9th annual Earth Day will take place on Saturday, April 27th. Westchester Magazine has ranked it as a must-do event for 2019, and we expect more than 3,000 people from around the region to heed that advice. And yes, it's true also that there is not a rain date, so it's rain or shine. We hope to see you at the waterfront. Special thanks to Green Ossining and their fearless leader, Susie Ross, for taking on this incredible and increasingly important endeavor. Finally, don't forget to sign up for the Green Ossining Tag Sale. The last day to get your home on the map is April 19th. Looking for some family fun, friendly entertainment in town? Check out Friday Night Flicks at the Ossining Public Library. This Friday at 7 p.m., bring the gang to the Boudars Theater for A Dog's Way Home. Enjoy this heartwarming tale Ha ha ha. And free popcorn and drinks. Doors open at 6:45 p.m. This Saturday, April 13th, come on down to the Joseph G. Caputo Community Center for the Egg-tastic Carnival with 2 sessions, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Come play games, win eggs, and be sure to bring a camera so you can pose for a photo with the big bunny. Annie and Safari Bob will also be there to provide entertainment. Be sure to register in advance for this program as both sessions will fill up. I don't think that the Easter Bunny is part of a safari, though, no. I don't know what Safari Bob's going to do with the Easter Bunny. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You're going to have to be there to find out. Call 941-3189 to reserve your spot for Saturday. This event is best for families with children's ages 2 to 9. Not hopping out of your seat to meet the bunny? There are some other local animals who need your help. The SPCA on North State Road in Briarcliff will be hosting an invasive vine cutting workshop and party this coming Saturday, April 13th. Cornell Cooperative Extension Master Gardener Donna Sharrett will be on hand to tell you what you need to know. And then you will be unleashed to untangle the SPCA. The fun starts at 11:30 a.m. Make sure to bring your own gloves, hand pruners, and garden lobbers, so you can lob things in the garden. On Tuesday, April 16th, you're invited to attend Biodiversity in the Suburbs as part of the Pocantico River Watershed Alliance series at Teatown Lake Reservation, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Hear from Professor Mike Rubo, PhD of Pace University, who will present his recent work addressing conservation and stewardship in the watershed and how you can help. Dr. Rubo did some of the research for this talk on town property, which we all approved not too long ago, so we will be interested to see what he uncovered and how it added to his research. On Tuesday, April 23rd, join Ossining Innovates at 7 p.m. for an evening at Speak Easy Creative Co-working at 127 Main Street, where the founder of Main Street Deli and the founder of Metro Pups will speak about their experience starting a business in Ossining. If you are considering taking the leap into entrepreneurship and have some questions to ask, this is the perfect opportunity to hear from the experts right in our own backyard. Don't worry, the town meeting that night will be recorded and posted on YouTube, so you don't miss a beat even if you skip the live version, which we know you hate to do. Finally, there is a lot going on for Saturday, May 4th, so mark your calendar now. Traditionally, the first Saturday in May is I Love My Park Day. Register to spend your day at the Old Croton Aqueduct State Historic Park. There are 3 volunteer projects that could use some spare hands. Lop vines, if you have your lopper or lobber, and invasive plants and bushes. Help to restore historic stone walls or restore plantings along the trail. Be sure to register in advance as some projects do fill up more quickly. Visit ptny.org. So, I'm sorry. I'm stuck on the lopper and the lobber. Okay, sorry. Visit ptny.org/events and click on I Love My Park Day to learn more. Email daldenpc@bestweb.net with any questions. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing. I have already signed up for the I Love My Park Day, I believe, and also Susie Ross will be down with a group of people with Green Ossining at the waterfront in Ossining as well to help clean up what they can down in that section, and that's another thing that you can also sign up for. May 4th will also be the 2019 kickoff for OHCC's gravestone cleanings. This one will take place at Historic Dale Cemetery at 104 Havel Street between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. No experience is necessary. The experts will show you how it's done. Just make sure to wear your clothes you won't mind getting wet or messy, and bring along a willingness to learn about Ossining's important past and some elbow grease. And that's all you need. Okay, so with that, we're going to change. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
One more.
One more.
Yes.
Okay. I did want to say the OVCC docs are in,
Congratulations.
and they are ready.
Wonderful.
Tomorrow, the 10th, is the membership meeting. So if anybody's interested in joining in on the boating fun with the Ossining Boat and Canoe Club, you can go to obcc.org, click on membership. You'll get information. Meeting for new members is 7 o'clock every second Wednesday in the month, which is tomorrow. And come on down. If you ever just want to take a look and see what it's all about, visit. You come down any Saturday. There's always somebody there working on cleaning up the building.
Wonderful. Are there any other announcements? Councilwoman?
Yes.
Okay.
Vets Park will be closed for the next few weeks for reseeding. The rec department is asking that the community stay off of it. They have it taped, I believe. I don't know how much more they have other than that. But we're trying to get the grass to catch so it's not a muddy mess for fall. So it will be closed for the next few weeks.
We did have a wonderful JCYS parade this past weekend, which was lots of fun and went very smoothly. So they had a new lineup for all the teams on the field, and that was great. And a few of us were there, and that was at Vets Park. Tori, do you have anything? Okay. Okay. So we're going to go off script here a little bit, and we are going to welcome public comment, visitor recognition for a special recognition of Frank Fiella from the American Legion, who has a short presentation to make, and I think Michael O'Connor is going to also maybe join him. And if you wouldn't mind just approaching and introducing yourself at the microphone, I would appreciate it.
Good evening.
Come on a little closer, so right up to that microphone, so we can hear you on the
Okay,
camera.
my name is Frank Fiella, Commander of the American Legion, Ossining, Post 506. Come up with an idea. Very simply, I thought about it one morning in my own home. When I was a kid, I remember a veteran getting killed overseas. I was 1944. His name was Anthony Incognito. My aunt and uncle lived across the street from him, and I can still remember to this day, family, my mother, father, and them had to go across the street to the house, his mother and father, when they got the notice. His name has been on a street sign for many years. There's like other streets named in the town of Ossing and the village of Ossing. So my idea was every year we put American flags on 3 graves, 3 cemeteries, I should say. St. Augustine's, Dale, and Scarborough. So I thought one day, maybe we can do something about a flag on a street named after a veteran, and maybe someday they'll get the idea that the reason that flag is there is because it was a guy that died during the war. So I had a guy, a friend of mine, design a holder, okay? What it does, it'll be mounted on the street pole. We already tried it on one pole. It has a slot here, so it has a set screw to hold the flag. When you install the flag in, okay, that the flag doesn't get blown away, and it'll be faced on the opposite side of whatever way the sign is faced. So it'll be dipped into a certain chemical to make sure that it doesn't rust because it's steel, very heavy. And guys at our Legion and I, or members, are willing to install these on the street poles. But we need the permission, first of all, that they're town and village property. And I don't think we have the right to just go in there and put them on there. So that's why we're here today. Mike, got to add anything to it?
So far, the numbers that we're looking at is for the unincorporated town is about roughly 22. 22 of our streets in the unincorporated area are named after veterans that died. And one woman, Mary Feeney, Feeney Road.
Do you have the list right there? Could you just quickly read those 22? I don't think it'll take that long.
We also have, we have several in the village of Ossining. We're confirming that list is incomplete. And I have the list from Briarcliff. I don't have it with me. That's another 15 names. But we'll be talking to Briarcliff separately, and I'm sure that when I meet with Phil Zagarelli and his staff and the American Legion post over there, Larry Riley, its commander, I think they'll warmly welcome this idea. So the names that we have right now between the we have Acker, Marshall, Bradshaw, Feeney, Ganung, Rusa, Tuttle, Barnes, Baden, Bracken, Decker, Downey, Incognito, Murray, Palmer, Robbins, Charade, Tavano, Gaultier, Jenkins, Birch, Mancuso, McCarthy, Purdy, Weich, Slater, Parker, McCord, Kelly, Peugeot, and Thornton Hill, which is not a dedicated road, but the developer did elect to name that little street after a deceased veteran. And that's the list that we have now. We're going over to double check everything at the moment. And we're going to raise money. We're looking for assistance, just whatever you can give to the project to support. They will become the property of the town of Ossining when we're finished, even though we're paying for some of these units and doing the work. It'll become the property of the town of Ossining. We will acknowledge that fact. That's not ours.
So just a couple of quick questions, or just to clarify. I think you said that they're to fabricate them. It costs about $60 each. Is that correct?
Approximately $60 a piece.
Okay. And the other question I have for Michael G., while you're still have your highway superintendent hat on for a couple more days, just to make sure from a safety perspective that there's room around each of these signs, that the because it looks like that sticks out a little bit, you know, that
Okay.
there's not going to be sticking into the road or
No,
anything,
no.
like there's plenty of room.
We did a test. We did a test run. I went out to Tavano Road and I mounted it on this thing on Tavano Road, and I put a flag in it and I took a picture of it. So the picture is somewhere on my camera, so I can't find it right now because it's a mist. And,
But
all
just,
this-
I'm just saying, like, on
Yeah.
all of these different streets, the
Right.
22, that there's room enough around these street signs so that this isn't going to be obstructing traffic in any way.
Yes, you're quite right. There will be no obstruction of traffic, either foot traffic or the street signs itself are farther back from the curb anyway. They're not that close to the curb. And these will only be these few streets.
And now, as far as the flags themselves, one of the things that, again, you'd mentioned to me, Mr. Fiala, when you had first approached me about this, was that the Legion would go around and put the signs
Had to do that.
in.
This
I
would
mean,
be-
the flags would actually put the flags in and take them out before and after each of the respective commemorative holidays.
That's correct.
Okay, and you're hoping to get this achieved by this Memorial Day?
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, can you just put your microphone on there?
Do you have to go up a ladder for these things?
Not necessarily. I would say a step stool at the most.
Oh, so it's not at the, I was thinking it was at the very bottom for some
No,
reason.
no.
Oh, no, it's
We-
gonna
we-
be in the,
It would be up now.
I see. Oh,
I
that's
mean-
why I was asking about the traffic. Okay, now I understand.
For most of these, and I'm 6'1", most of these things I can touch the street sign, and this will be just below the street sign, a little bit down. And that's it. And we'll be able to change them with just a little small kitchen step stool. We don't need a bucket truck. We don't need an extension ladder. We don't need any of those things.
Do you have that picture that you could pass around? Is it on your phone? Just
I'll
out of
try to look
curiosity.
for it when we
Okay.
sit down.
Okay.
I just hope that you're safe with this.
Pardon?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that you're safe with doing it, even with a step stool, if you fall off that.
Airplane, I caught on fire, so I'm still there. I don't think the step stool's gonna kill me yet.
Okay,
I-
well, we're not even going to let that happen. So there's a
no.
couple of things that I would think that we would need to look into from our perspective in terms of
We
getting this to actually happen. And we have a little bit of homework that we would have to
Yes,
still do.
absolutely.
To actually get them installed, to figure out who's going to do that, if it's going to be our town staff, or if it's going to be your folks, and how we would do that. And it might be better for us to do it, and then we would have less issues. I'm not sure what how long it takes to put each one of these on. So there's a couple little things that we need to still do for homework, I think. But I want to just see if any board members have any other questions.
You know,
Once
this,
once the initial installation is made, after that, it's just a matter of a screw and changing the flag.
Yeah, sure.
Karen?
it's such a nice idea, and I don't think that many
but I mean, I didn't know, I've been here for 30 years, that all these roads were named for veterans who died in service. And I'm sure there's people who live on those streets that don't know that. And we did it so that, you know, at some point that was done so people would remember. So I think it's a really good way to make sure that we actually do remember.
I doubt it would take myself even more than an hour and a half to go around and change all the flags for that.
No, you know, I wasn't talking
Right.
about changing the flags. I was saying if we were to put the mounts on.
The mounts on it'll take a little time. No, it would take us a day to do them all.
Okay.
Only to make sure that, you know, we got it on tight. This is a prototype, obviously. We're going to probably put 2 washers with a locking washer and a double nut on this so that it'd be very hard to remove this. Nothing is completely difficult, but we would make it extremely difficult to, in fact, try to remove this thing.
Could you just bring that up so we could, the board can just look at this thing, pass it around? That would be great.
Goes around the back. It's
Pass it.
prototype.
But it's supposed to be heavy, right? Okay. Okay. Councilwoman Shaw, do you have any questions? Okay. So can I just take the temperature of the board on this? Because this is something that, you know, again, it's something that Mr. Fiala had approached me on a long time ago, and I know that we had some brief conversations, and we were expecting that we were going to have a more formal presentation. I didn't know until tonight that this was something that they were hoping to achieve by Memorial Day, but just to get I mean, I personally think that this is a phenomenal idea, relatively inexpensive, and I think that if we could make a commitment of, you know, under $1,000 to go towards this, that I think that, you know, would be great, and maybe we may end up having our guys also put them up. How would everybody feel about that?
Be good with that. I'd actually be more comfortable with our guys putting it up,
Yes, I thought you might say that. Yes.
but I think it's a wonderful idea.
Liability always being top of mind, and safety, yes.
Yeah.
You like that idea too? Okay. Okay,
Yeah, but one
fantastic.
thing, how much,
Can't have a vote, but
you
yeah.
said how much?
We were gonna try to maybe contribute under $1,000. I think that the town signs are probably gonna, I mean, based on that estimate, would cost about 1,200, and we just asked that, you know, if the American Legion could maybe come up with the remainder, and then we would come up with some agreement to accept the remainder as a donation, but at least we could help at the beginning and maybe help to order them, and then our in-kind donation of time.
We talking all of them, $500?
The 22, right, they're about $60 each, and 22, $1,320.
Town is gonna pay for the 22. We'll work out with the village, try and get some help. But if they, listen, no matter what, whoever pays, who doesn't pay, we'll make up something if
Yeah,
we
I'm just
have
trying to
to.
figure out how much they cost.
They're $60
$60
each.
Oh,
each.
$60 each, and you got how many?
22.
We need 30 to do all of them.
30.
In the village and town together. Do you want to make a your eyes are going in different directions, Council O'Donnell.
I mean, I think the board is, I mean, I also think it's a wonderful idea, just not as a lawyer. But I do think, you know, from a safety standpoint, the board is veering in the direction I would have recommended with having your own staff be in charge of installing them.
That's fine with us.
And it's something that we can also talk to, you know, our insurance brokers about and see what, if anything, we need to do on that end. But I think it's 7 weeks. I think that's completely doable.
Okay, right. I think that there's some amount of time that it just takes to fabricate them, which is why Mr. Fayel is going to try to get some sort of a,
That's the problem. We're gonna have
Response.
to get them fabricated, and then they have to be treated for the weather. And hopefully we'll
I
have them by Memorial Day.
I think that we will we can probably give a nod in the general direction, and then we work out the details and make it official at a meeting in the very near future. So we can go like this.
Does that mean that I could order, that we can use your poles? Or,
Yes, we will work out all the details.
Pending,
Got
yes.
that far for
The
us?
board, the
We're gonna
board
have to work
is
out an agreement.
unofficially approves because we don't have it as a resolution. Then we have to approve it as a resolution, but we're going to unofficially
much.
approve it so that we can
Applaud
get that.
you very much. I think you're doing a great deed for this village and for this town. And I believe this, when the word gets around in other towns and villages, they're gonna go nuts over this idea.
Well, thank you so much for bringing it to us. We very much appreciate it.
I'm
patent it.
glad we're the first.
That's right. Great idea. Have a great night.
You.
Okay. Okay, so with that, we are going to move into our liaison reports. Are there any? No? Okay. Hearing none? There's nothing from the rec advisory? No? Okay, fantastic. Okay, hearing none, we are now moving into departmental reports, and we have no departmental reports this evening. Next up, we have public comment on agenda items only. Is there any? Hearing none, we're going to move into our board resolutions.
Okay. Approval of minutes, regular meeting, March 26, 2019. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the March 26, 2019 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, approval of minutes, special meeting, April 2nd, 2019. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the April 2nd, 2019 minutes of the special meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
A delayed aye, but we'll accept it anyway.
I like to make mine distinct.
Okay,
Okay,
approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated April 9th, 2019 in the amount of $360,165.05.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
So not many bills of interest this time around. We paid our April IMA to the Village of Ossining and also our second quarter workers' comp bill and our annual workers' comp assessment fee. We also paid for the remainder of the backup pumps, the sewer pumps that we ordered for our sewer lift stations throughout the unincorporated town. And we are feeling good that these are going to put us in better shape. Not perfect yet, but we're working in the direction of having backup sewer pumps for all of our lift stations. We also made the first 2 of 12 payments on our brand-new Ford Fusion, which is now being driven by our building inspector. And we are going to own that for the price of $1 at the end of that year. And the reason that we did it that way, it was so that we could take advantage of a federal tax incentive, which we couldn't do as a municipality, but the leasing company could do. So we basically are paying for it with very low to almost no interest within the course of a year, so that we can realize some of the savings that we would accrue from that federal tax incentive, which got passed on to us in some part. So all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Resolution Metro North Agreement Earth Day Parking. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby authorizes the supervisor to sign an agreement with Metro North on behalf of the town, whereby Metro North will extend permission to the town of Ossining to use the parking area at Lewis Angle Park for 2019 Earth Day, Saturday, April 27th, 2019. And be it further resolved that all documents and certificates of insurance are subject to approval by council to the town.
Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
So it does seem like we had to move heaven and earth last year. It was much easier this year to get Metro North to participate with us. Green Ossining came up with a wonderful floor plan or design for how the booths would flow better last year. It went really well. And we asked Metro North if once again they would let us have some of their spots for the day. And since there's not a whole lot of parking there, they said yes. So we're very grateful to Metro North for being so accommodating. We want to remind everybody that Earth Day is Saturday, April 27th, and it is going to be a spectacular day at the waterfront. So please come on down to the Hudson River, to Lewis Angle Park on the 27th. And hopefully everybody will have an easy time finding parking on the other side of the tracks. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution calling for a public hearing on local law number 5 of 2019, Energize New York Open Sea PACE financing program. Whereas the Town Code, Chapter 178, entitled Sustainable Energy Loan Program, was enacted by the Town Board to allow certain property owners to obtain financing for the installation of renewable energy systems and energy efficiency measures as permitted by state law. And whereas as set forth in the existing local law and agreement with the Energy Improvement Corporation, EIC, a local development corporation acting as the agent for the town to administer this program, the town was required to put a lien on the property for the value of the financing and pay back the loan regardless of whether the property owner paid the bill. And whereas a new program has been established whereby the EIC, as the agent for the town, would be responsible for putting the lien on the property and collecting the repayment of the loan from the property owner, relieving the town of that obligation. And whereas a new local law is required in order to implement this new program, known as Energize New York Open Sea PACE Financing Program, and now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019, at the Birdsall-Fagan Police Court Facility located at 8688 Spring Street, Ossining, New York, 10562, in the matter of local law number 5 of 2019, Energize New York Open Sea PACE Financing Program.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So we heard about this last week from Sarah Smiley from Energize New York, and the consensus of the board was that this is a good thing for municipalities to adopt because it gives another tool to commercial properties and not-for-profits to finance energy improvements with a better product. We're happy to offer PACE financing to our community, but we will be even happier when the CPACE amendment takes the onus off of the town to collect in case of a delinquency. Any further discussion? Okay, so this is just to open the public hearing and read to the local law number 5. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution calling for a public hearing on local law number 6 of 2019, establishing an alternate to the planning board. Whereas the town of Ossining Planning Board consists of 5 members who attend meetings and hear applications, the planning board is authorized to consider under state law and the town code. And whereas on occasion and for a variety of reasons, a planning board member may not be able to attend a meeting, which could be detrimental to the operations of the planning board, and the application is considering it is considering if there is not a quorum and/or there is not a full complement of the planning board present to vote on the applications. And whereas the town board believes it would be beneficial to have an alternate member of the planning board appointed who would attend the planning board meetings, be familiar with the applications before the planning board, and be able to vote on the applications when there is not a full complement of the planning board present at the meeting. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Ossining hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, April 23rd, 2019, at the Birdsall-Fagan Police Court Facility located at 8688 Spring Street, Ossining, New York, 10562, in the matter of local law number 6 of 2019, establishing an alternate to the planning board.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
As the planning board has more regular meetings than any of our other boards and time is of the essence, it was suggested to us that a provision be made to allow for an alternate to be named in the event that one of the regular members must be absent. Council, would you like to elaborate on this at all? If not, that's okay. You don't have to.
The planning board has 2 meetings a month generally. Sometimes it's work session, but often it's 2 meetings. So, they're meeting relatively frequently in an effort to try to move applications through the process. Often these are people who want to subdivisions, site plans, some, usually we hear about the bigger projects, but a lot of times it's on a smaller scale. And so the planning board does make a conscious effort to try to move the process along, which often involves compliance with SECRES. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of different resolutions and approvals that go into a lot of these applications. And what we were thinking is that if we could find someone who is interested in being a full-time alternate, it would be beneficial to have someone who attends every single meeting so that they're completely up to speed on what's been going on in an application, instead of showing up when they find out someone isn't going to be there, and then they either have to try and read the minutes from the previous meetings or may not be in a position to vote if the rest of the board is that night, which would kind of defeat the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish here. So what we're trying to do and what the board may wish to consider in opening the public hearing and considering this local law is just appointing an alternate who would sit with the board, would serve an equal function in every capacity, except for the fact that if there is a full complement of the board being all 5 members, that person wouldn't vote, but they could certainly participate, ask questions, make comments, etc. If someone has to recuse themselves for any variety of reasons. So that's kind of the direction we're going. But, you know, again, this is only calling for a public hearing. We're very early in the process. We'll have a draft local law drafted, so that could be circulated and noticed. And then the board is certainly welcome and encouraged, as well as the public, to weigh in on that, and we can make changes as appropriate.
Great. And I just would like to add to that I was recently at a Westchester Municipal Planning Federation training session and planning board basics. And one of the planning board basics that they recommended was to actually appoint an alternate. So this also came as a matter of, came out of that suggestion. All those in favor of calling for the public hearing? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Resolution authorizing Cedar Lane Art Center Clay Studio membership application. Whereas the Town of Austening's Cedar Lane Art Center has a clay studio, which is currently being used only for scheduled classes overseen by an instructor. And whereas it has come to the town board's attention that there are those in the greater Austining and Westchester community who are experienced in clay, do not require instruction or supervision, and would be interested in using Clay Studio during times when classes are not scheduled, and whereas the town board believes it would be beneficial to allow these individuals, after being assessed and evaluated by the studio manager, to determine they are experienced and qualified to use the Clay Studio without supervision, to obtain a membership to CLAC in order to use this Clay Studio outside of scheduled class time. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby adopts the attached Cedar Lane Art Center Clay Studio membership application form to be used by the studio manager in accepting and processing applications and setting forth the rules and regulations for members' use of the Clay Studio. And be it further resolved, the town board hereby adopts the fees set forth in the application, which are based upon supplier costs and subject to change, and which fees shall be added to the current 2019 fee schedule. The rental fees are studio access without a shelf space, $300 per quarter, studio access with a half storage unit, $375 a quarter, studio access with one full storage unit, $450 a quarter, 10% rental discount when you prepay 6 or more months in advance. Use fees or firing fees is 5 cents per cubic inch. Clay is $15 to $25 per $15 per 25-pound bag. Reclaimed clay from bucket, $10 per 25-pound bag. Mid-range porcelain clay, $20 for a 25-pound bag. And a deposit for key to access CLAC is $200.
Okay, so we are, do I have a motion?
Second.
Okay. We're excited to be able to offer the rental of studio space to local artists. Folks who wish to avail themselves of this opportunity will be vetted by Keith Gordon, our studio manager, and we're excited to hear how this program works out and to see some fantastic artwork. I know that there are other studios in Westchester that allow this. One that's just up in Peekskill, I think, or Town of Cortland, a hat factory, and it's something that we've been working towards, and Keith Gordon feels like he's ready. We've been working on this agreement for, is that what it's called, an agreement? And the application and the rental fees and the use fees for some time now, and I think that we finally found something that satisfies all needs. Questions or further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. Auctions International, acceptance of high bids. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Austining declared by resolution on March 19th, 2019, the below items surplus and authorized them to be posted on Auctions International. And whereas the auctions have closed and the Town Board is in receipt of the high bids for each item, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austining does hereby accept these bids and permit the sales of these items to the highest bidder. From the Parks Department, truck number 23, a 2008 GMC 5500 dump body. High bid is $17,600. Highway Department, truck number 82 is a 2003 Elgin Pelican with a high bid of $4,550. Truck number 65, 2001 Dodge 3500 utility truck with a high bid of $1,450. Truck number 53, 2003 International with a high bid of 6,500. Truck number 62, 1996 Chevy 3500 dump body with a high bid of $520. Truck number 73, 2001 Jeep Cherokee at a high bid of $750. Western Plow with a high bid of $860. Mohawk Lift at a high bid of $1,800. And the building department, a 2007 Chevy Impala with a high bid of $860.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
So we are incredibly pleased with the bid results. In fact, I think the only folks that are more pleased than us are the highway department staff, so they can start to move these vehicles off the yard and make room for the vehicles that are coming later this spring and summer. Thank you so much to Victoria Caffarelli in my office, as well as Gary Cesari and Fern Quesada in the highway department for getting this project turned around so quickly. It's really great news, and we look forward to the income. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we have correspondence to be received and filed. There is none. Monthly reports.
Yep. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Ossining hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the month of March 2019 from the Town Clerk's Office, GE Helicopter Report, Town Tax Receiver's Office, Dale Cemetery Supervisor's Office, and Town Building Department.
Great. Do I have a motion?
Moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And visitor recognition. Is there anybody here to address the board? Seeing only 2 people from the town staff, I would say no. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. May I please have a motion to go into executive session for advice of counsel and personnel?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you will join us next Tuesday, April 16th at the Ossining Public Library for our town hall meeting. Have a great night, everybody.